focused, horny, serious.
All that's on the record, just so you guys know.
Perfect.
Hey, everybody,
Awesome.
welcome to our brand new episode of Internet Friends, the one where we're more focused and more horny.
Very.
So much.
Ibuprofen all week, and just my testosterone's up there.
Yeah, somebody replaced his Tylenol with Viagra, and he just didn't notice.
No, oddly,
Fine.
same effect I get from Tylenol. More
Autism?
autism and just as circumcised.
Excellent start. We're doing great.
I like how I had an actual intro written out, but I was just like, no, Brie had a better one with the horniness. Let's go with that.
Let's get in. Feels good to laugh again after the last couple weeks.
Yeah. No,
Needed.
honestly, I look forward to these recordings just because it's just like, yes, I can talk to non-insane people. Well, okay, that's a stretch.
Right. Well, yeah.
People who share my insanity.
I'm gonna say it's an insane you understand. So
Yeah, it's just the crazy is better than the crazy that's actively trying to destroy you from the inside.
exactly.
Yes.
So how's everybody been?
Fine.
Tired.
Surviving. So fucking tired.
Yeah. No, we're now in the nights getting earlier and earlier, and the mornings are coming later and later. So that's always great for my seasonal depression, which is just regular depression. I just have an excuse, more or less. I can blame it on something that I have no control over.
How dare you, seasons? This is your fault, not mine.
How dare you, the access of the world as it's rotating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we had a homework assignment, and that homework assignment was assigned by me, and we played the game Silksong. So I guess I'm going to start out by asking, how many times did you guys die?
I was supposed to count. Fuck.
Same as there, Connor, because a lot. So many.
I wish this game did have the Cuphead style counter that tells you every time you've died, because that's fun.
I have to imagine there's something in the pause menu somewhere where you can actually look at it. We're going to talk a little bit about it later, but actually in Breath of the Wild, there actually is a function in the map that actually shows you your entire playthrough and shows you everywhere you went, as you were walking on the map. So it actually does a dive and shows you every time you died.
Oh, interesting.
I love that.
But yeah, Silksong is a song that was actually is a song. Anyways,
it's a limerick.
It's a game that came out recently. It's a sequel to the game Hollow Knight, which was a very big indie classic that released a few years back, and it was getting a lot of buzz on the internet, so I kind of wanted to play it. It has a lot of elements of games I do like, and it has a lot of elements of games I don't like. And it seems like a lot of the don't likes ended up in this for me, to say the least.
I can see that.
Specifically, there's elements of Metroidvanias, which is primarily what this is, which I really, really like. Specifically, kind of the exploration element, the, progression element of as you go, you collect things that allow you to get to places you couldn't go before, do combat and everything a little bit differently, stuff like that. And normally I like the narrative structure of Metroidvanias, but specifically the Souls-like nature. Really, I've discovered that I'm just not a Souls-like person.
I've known that for years, that I'm not a Souls person, and I didn't know anything about this game. I didn't know anything about Hollow Knight. I just knew hard, beloved. Like me on a Thursday night. But
Heyo.
Living up to that horniness, let's keep it up.
Yeah, my first 30 seconds with the game, when being actually handed the controls, it is very obvious that you're supposed to move to the left of the screen. And I was like, I know that this kind of game is. I hopped to the right. Oh, secret chamber. Immediately an enemy and died within 30 seconds. And I was like, oh, this is... Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
Amazing. I like this more than I thought I would, I'll be honest with you. So I was expecting to to get like we mentioned this like last like podcast, and I feel like we were like, hey, we're gonna get really familiar with the menu screen and like the first 5 minutes of the game, and we will not be able to progress more than that. And that was fully what I was intending, especially because little behind the curtain, I had zero time to play this game. As I was mentioning earlier, I'm like the second week back from vacation, and I am still recalibrating, and work has been very busy. So I played this game today, and I played it for about an hour and a half. And I feel like I kind of get it. I get it more than I get like the Elden Ring, things like that. I'm just like, this seems like a lot not easier, but like a maybe more palatable version of this, where like I still the aesthetic is fucking beautiful. This game is gorgeous. Yep. So I'm like, I think you could fall in love with that alone. And I feel like I really like how the gameplay is very intuitive. I feel like there's not a lot of hand holding. They're kind of like, hey, these are the mechanics. This is the basic story. I didn't feel like I was lacking anything by not playing Hollow Knight or knowing like the deep lore. And I'm sure there's probably more context I could have there, but like I feel like it's like, hey, you got captured. You want to find out who these people are? Go. And that's like really all I need to get going. And then the world is kind of unfolding as you go through it. So yeah, I did not get super far. I did get frustrated because honestly, my biggest issue with this is the directionality of it. I never knew where the fuck I was in this game. And in fact, what kept happening to me is that I kept dropping all the way to the first area in the game. And that happened to me 3 times in a row. And I said, I think I'm done for today.
No, that happened to me. I made it like super high up. I kept dying at a certain point, finally get past that point, and I'm like, all right, I'm making progression. And then I'm like, well, let's jump down here. And then I'm back at the start of the game. And I was like, all right, I'm turning it off tonight. I'm gonna go play something else.
Yeah. No, that's definitely where specifically the Souls-like aspects and the Metroidvania aspects were like intersecting for me, which typically in Metroidvania is like, you know, that difficulty really kind of stems from how forgiving your checkpoints and progression is. Because in some Metroidvanias, it is one of those things, like, once you get past, like, specific areas, it's just, like, they're more forgiving about, like, if you failed, like, not sending you all the way back to, like, what this game does, whatever your last checkpoint was that you rested at. It's just like, okay, we're going to more or less put you on the same spot in the map, and, like, you have to kind of go for that. So, again, that's a Souls-like element that's kind of ruining a Metroidvania element for me. And
I see that. There was one point when, to the getting lost, I found a place where I could rest, and I was like, oh good, I can saved, walk a little farther, and I'm like, wait, fuck, I've been here before, and I just erased a bunch of like progress.
Right, because now all the enemies that you previously like cleared out are back.
Yeah, and it was right before a spot that I had a really hard time clearing out.
Yeah, and that kind of goes to a kind of question is like, how okay are we with difficulty for the sake of difficulty? Because we played Crash Bandicoot a few weeks back, and that game...
Great game. Only one here who likes it.
Arguably. Sure. I guess you could say that.
I would use the word influential more than anything else, but so... With that game, you know, it's very much the mechanics are the mechanics and everything is designed around the mechanics. This game is more or less based on progression because, like, you do unlock things and build momentum, and, like, there is a point where, like, I'm sure, because there's other games like this where, like, you have enough abilities to where it gets a lot easier going through some of these things, especially stuff that maybe you previously experienced, because now you have stronger attacks, a double jump feature, a dash feature, like things that I didn't get in this game because I ran into a boss at run point where I was just like, I clearly don't have the things I need to beat this boss because there's just no way with how fast he is. There's no way to dodge any of his attacks, and like he kills me in 2 hits. I clearly do not have what I need to beat this boss.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the game creates that artificial difficulty by basically punishing you really harshly for dying.
Yeah. Well, and then you gotta, if you even want to explore, you've got to go back to where you died to get your loot. And so there's that. Going to your original question, I have a very low tolerance for difficulty in games. I I play them to enjoy them, and I'm an easy mode enthusiast. Cuphead is the only game that is purposely difficult that I got really far in. But there were so many other things about the game that I enjoyed, the art style, the music, that it made me keep going because I wanted to see what was next. And Souls-like games don't do that for me. This game didn't do that for me. I felt like after an hour, I was like, all right, I pretty much get it. I love the art style, but I get what's here. And then also to upgrading abilities, you get that like sword that lets you cut through the spider webs at one point. And I'm like, oh, cool. I can go through this one area I found earlier. Did that immediately, a boss that I couldn't beat. And I was like, well, shit. Okay.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on that boss.
Oh, I bet.
Like,
it's hard.
Probably an hour of my 5-hour playtime was on that boss.
And that's another thing I don't like about Souls games is I don't like that you have to dedicate hours and hours to bosses and memorizing the tiny minutiae of how they move and how to dodge when.
Yeah, because it's funny. Again, I'm going to do a lot of comparing to games that we've played before on the show, but Breath of the Wild, Seth, you even mentioned like you didn't realize Breath of the Wild was a Souls-like, which I didn't associate it as a Souls-like, but like having more exposure to them, it's just like, okay, I see the elements of the Souls-like that kind of like have that. The difference is in Breath of the Wild, you have a little bit more leeway of just like, there's more than one way to beat this. There's more than one ways to beat this boss or this enemy or to solve this puzzle or anything else. This game basically is just like, there's literally only one way you're going to be able to beat this, and so you're just going to have to figure it out. Like, there's a specific kind of timing, there's a specific mechanic you need to be using. There's like a specific... It's almost a rhythm game at this point, where if you don't start strong, especially in boss fights, you are going to have a really bad time during the boss fights.
I think that speaks to like something like, I have to be, as silly as this might sound, I have to be in a decent headspace to enjoy a game like this, because I feel like the more my anxiety ramps up, the more I just like, I'm making stupid mistakes where I'm just like, I'm too ahead on the timing, I'm a little too slow, and then I just like get hit 3 times in a row, and I'm just like, okay, I'm a little amped up right now. I need to not play this at the moment. So, which I feel like kept happening when we were talking about checkpoints earlier. I feel like there's this part really early on in the game. And I will say I give credit to the game because I feel like it introduces enemies and their fighting styles very progressively. So it's just like, it'll show you an enemy, you get an idea of how they fight. Awesome. And then you get to see them a little more in action. And then they show a different enemy and then they have the enemies together. So, okay, I get an idea of how I'm supposed to fight these things. But there's a little section where like you fall into this pit and there's like a series of bugs that come at you for a while. Yeah. And I died so many times because I was getting really amped up and I would just like miss a timing and then boom, 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 dead. And I'm just like, and that was where I didn't have a checkpoint very close. So I was like, fuck. And then I died like, I don't know. I died right after that because there wasn't a checkpoint, and thankfully, mercifully, the game saved me beating that section because I'm just like, I cannot do this again.
Yeah,
I cannot do this again. I will quit right now.
I had the same reaction to that section.
Yeah, same. And that section too, I remember like going through the early section before the moth boss, like the very beginning of the game, and being like, oh, I like how this is clearly going to get more difficult, but it's kind of slowly working you into it. I die a couple times to the moth boss, finish that, and then I'm immediately in the section that we're talking about, and I'm like, oh, this game is fucking hard. Yeah, it just immediately ramps that up.
Yeah, like you don't realize it's just like, okay, so good job on the tutorial. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's kind of... So I kind of touched on like the Metroidvania, meaning the Souls-like. Which would you guys consider this more? I consider it more of a Souls-like, personally. But that just might be my experience of just like, not liking those elements. So the Souls-like elements make it feel
they
like that
show
more
through more.
Yeah.
I for me, one aspect of this game that I really loved is the platforming. And so that stuck out to me. I was prepared for the difficulty because that was the only thing I knew about the game. But the platforming, I was like, oh, this is fun. And this is, I enjoy this aspect of it. it's probably more of a Souls game in my opinion than it is a
Yeah.
platformer. But
Yeah.
that could just be because I didn't get very far, and the platforming gets much more difficult as you go on.
Yeah, I feel like that's my answer too, only because I feel like the Metroidvania, like I feel like that definition has been stretched so much over the years that I feel like sometimes I'm not always able to articulate what that means. But like for me,
Yeah.
this is definitely more Souls-like. But I'm just like I don't know. For me, I think the aesthetic sells it a little more than most of those games.
Yeah.
Like this world is just like very like ethereal and very like the bugs.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of bugs IRL. These bugs are so stinking cute, especially the fleas.
They
The
are,
fleas
yeah.
with the little mustache and their little caravan. Cutie pies. Although I will say it also has that like just small sidebar. There's such an element of like dread in this because I'm like, as I'm going around and see these cute bugs, I'm also like, oh, and I'm getting some rosaries. And I was like, oh, I have the rosaries here because there's a dead bug here that didn't make his journey. And there's just corpses everywhere. And I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel so good anymore.
Yeah, it has a very grim, dark aesthetic and story.
Yes.
And that's actually kind of one of the things about it is that there's this story again, and this is all another element of Souls-like. It's just like it's more implied lore and storytelling than it is direct narrative. Although there is direct narrative and kind of going on, but you kind of forget what the narrative's supposed to be very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And different games do that more effectively than others. I'm one of the reasons I don't typically like Souls games or Elden Ring or games like that is kind of just like, so I'm basically just here to get my ass kicked. Is that basically the point of the game?
That's so lore heavy too.
Yeah,
so
like,
lore heavy.
Yeah, and this like I feel like hits that balance a lot more. And like I like games that don't necessarily have a like direct narrative and there's more implied lore. Like we played unboxing, unpacking.
Mm-hmm.
Unpacking together, and like that's pretty much all implied lore. Basically, you're being told the story through packing and unpacking stuff, and basically you're learning about this character and like going through their life. But it's all just through basically the mechanics of the game. It doesn't like directly tell you what's going on. You're kind of just let to know that. So it does work well in some of those elements, but other games don't necessarily do that well. And there's sometimes I feel like with this, like I would have preferred a more direct narrative to guide me through what exactly am I supposed to be doing right now.
Oh, see, that's something I really like about this, to be honest with you. I feel like it allowed me to explore and like take the story as it like I just don't think I needed more than what it had. Like again, I'm captured. I need to find out who did this, and I feel like that's enough of a motivator for me to keep going. So, and again, I feel like so much is being unfolded through just things that as I'm exploring, and there's such a again, the directionality is still confusing to me, but I did feel very encouraged to explore in this game. Even if I got my ass kicked, it still kind of felt interesting to be like, what is over here? Because I am very much when I game in general, if the path is right, I have to go left. I'm just like, there's got to be something over here. So just like, I yes, it does.
How I started my playthrough.
Yeah, I was like, you learn very quickly, but I'm like, I don't know, I enjoy that like exploratory nature of it. So I don't mind. I love that how subtle the lore is in this, especially because I'm not I don't know fucking anything about Hollow Knight at all, and I'm so glad that I was still able to jump into this and appreciate the aesthetic of it all.
No, and because of again that more implied stuff, it does make it to where like if you didn't play Hollow Knight, you definitely don't have to play this. I didn't play Hollow Knight. I bought it at the same time as I bought this, but I haven't played it. And we'll see if I take the time to go back and play it, but we'll talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah, well, and speaking to the like exploration, one thing I really did enjoy about this game is like there would be times where I'd be going in circles looking for a new pathway, and then all of a sudden a corridor that I thought I checked led to a whole new room, and it was like, oh, I haven't been here yet. What's this? And there was that excitement of discovery.
Yeah. Because that also gives you a sense of progression because you seeing a new thing, even though like you don't get a new weapon or more health or a new ability, you still feels like, oh, I found something that's different than what I saw previously.
Yeah.
The
It creates kind of
maps
a sense
fucking
of,
suck in this game too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
From what I've heard other people talk about Hollow Knight, apparently like trying to play that game like without the maps like was like a horrible experience. So I think they purposely make the maps horrible because it's just like, hey, we want this game to be hard.
Yeah. First off, you got to buy the map, and then you open it up and it's just like a rough sketch of the area that you're in with no marker as to where you are. And I'm like, okay, so I have to rely on landmarks for this.
But hey, if you want markers, we can buy markers.
Yeah, I'm supposed to survive long enough to make more than one purchase at that sing-in guy. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Well, no, if you get back to where you died, you get all of your money back.
Yeah, and then die again, which was my experience.
Although on that note, I really love the characters that are just randomly singing, like, and that is such a fun marker to be like, especially like that did help with like where I knew things were, because I would hear that like distant singing, and it was always just like very beautiful and very had such like a beautiful cadence to it. So like I love those little like random musical beats, and I'm like, oh, that's right, this person's over here. I can open this door and help them get here. So very pleasant.
As far as art direction goes, and that includes sound design, music, aesthetic.
Oh, great.
Like literally
Beautiful.
just the entire package. Like you can, like, I can see, like, anybody who says just like, I just really love the art of this game, and it's just like, I cannot argue with you. You are correct.
It is a beautiful game and adorable.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the most
even the environments though, like you like when I'm exploring, like going to a really lush green area where you can kind of stop and see some like distant mountain and some like waterfalls in the background, and then going to the lava and there's just like the kind of fire sprinkling there. Although actually on that note, I think it's kind of funny when games like this have like those leaps of faith, because sometimes it pays off, oftentimes it doesn't. I hopped right into that lava, let me tell you, because I was like, well, surely there's something over here. Is not.
It's really funny because I actually felt like I got more of a payoff from all those leaps of faith. There's very few times where I got screwed. There's maybe like 2 or 3 I could think of. There's like one with like I followed into a thing and there was a spike pit, and like that's all that was in there.
Yeah, I did that.
And then there was like also like the like following boulders like sections where that happens. I was just like, damn it.
I kept forgetting the strings that would release the spikes.
Yeah.
So I would keep going back through the same area, and then spikes. Fuck. Okay.
It happens so quickly too. You're like, oh fuck. Oh, okay, I'm dead. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I during the moth battle, I hadn't figured out that circle is heal. I don't know, and so I'm fighting the moth. I stun it before the like second sequence, and it's telling me to bind. Bind.
Yeah, bind.
And so I run over to the moth and press the button as it unstuns and hits me and cancels the healing motion, the healing animation, and I died.
That being able to cancel the healing animation was so brutal, because there's so many times I was like, oh shit, heal, and then like as soon as I hit it, it was just like bam. I'm just like, you motherfucker.
Real quick, speaking about menus, I did. First thing I did was go to the options, and I was like, oh good, they have a controller, like you can change the controller. This will tell me what buttons are. It tells you all of the buttons, even if you haven't unlocked the thing yet. So I jumped into the game being like, oh, I can do this. Why is nothing happening? Why? Oh, I'm dead.
Nope.
Good to know. Oh my goodness.
Do you guys think this game would benefit from an easy mode? I know that's a controversial, subject, because, I think game developers have a right to create an experience the way that they intended, and sometimes the difficulty is the intended experience. But for a game that, again, there's so much art and love and everything else that went into the game, and the difficulty will turn people off from playing it.
That's such a hard question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I come from a lens of like, just in general, accessibility is so important to me, and I don't want it to ever feel like you're not allowed to play something because you're not good enough. I will say, I think. Again, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I'm like, I think for a game like this, I think this is kind of an accessible entry, because I feel like a lot of it is timing and like things like that. Like it's not like, I've played Bloodborne and it was one of those miserable experiences of my life, and I'm just like, I love watching people, like, just a sidebar to this, but I'm like, I love watching people play these kind of games when they're really good at them, because it's very satisfying. But I it's fun to watch. It is not fun to play personally, but like this actually felt kind of fun. Like I feel like there's a way, and actually I feel like there's even like a semi-pacifist route where you could take where you are just kind of hopping around. Like you do need to fight things at some point, but I think there's still an option for exploration. So I'm just like, I feel like I'm actually leaning towards on this. Like, I think for this particular game, I think it doesn't maybe need one. I think you could still get a lot out of this without there being an easy mode.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, the difficulty is intentionally part of the design of this game.
Yeah.
And also the controls, they aren't traditional Souls where like you have to get really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
It's an easy to learn, difficult to master kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as long as you grasp it, like I was never like frustrated playing the game. There was never a point when I wanted to like throw the controller, because every death that I experienced felt like, oh no, I deserved that. I'm just not good enough yet to be able to do this. And that's a delicate balance.
Yeah, it's not unfair, because I think, again, going back to Crash Bandicoot, which we all played, there were sections of Crash Bandicoot that were objectively unfair.
I kept thinking that while playing this was like, there were moments in Crash that were just unfair.
Yeah. Like, the bosses are beatable, like, if you have what you need to beat them, but, like, it's one of those things where it's just, like, it's gonna make you earn it. So,
yes.
I would kind of agree with that, and I think part of that is what made this style of game, specifically from the Souls-like element, become so popular. Like Brie, you mentioned watching people play this. Elden Ring was like probably one of the most streamed games, which is not common for, RPG action single player games. Like, most people like watch multiplayer like experiences or something along those lines. But specifically watching people, the Fortnites of the world, the Call of Duties, the Minecrafts of the world, stuff like that. Watching people who are really good at this is something that a lot of people enjoy, because it might take people who aren't good at the games. Hey, how's everybody going? It allows them to experience the, art and the lore and the story and everything else without having that frustration and friction of it. But also at the same time, there is like the element of like watching people like us crash out trying to.
Sure.
Yeah. And that can be very fun to watch.
Oh yeah, like Rage Quit was a whole entire genre of, Let's Plays back in our day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this game definitely got me to Rage Quit a couple of times. Again, like, not because it was being unfair, but just because it's just like, all right, I'm gonna go launch Halo. I need to go play a game that like I'm still not amazing at, but I'm good enough at it to feel like it's just like, okay, got it.
I installed this game the day after we recorded the last episode, played 30 minutes, died a bunch, and then finally was like, I'll come back to this. And then I played nothing but Arkham Asylum for the next week, and I didn't pick it up until last Sunday.
Yeah. No, I was straight up, it's just like, I need to get some Halo in or something, or it's just like, I'm gonna go fire up some Mass Effect, or it's just like, I need a comfort game that I know how to play and I know I'm good at. Just kind of remind myself, it's just like, it's the game, it's not you. It's the game, it's not you.
Yes.
Yeah. Just need that shot to your ego of like, no, I don't suck. It's the game that's wrong.
But like,
go ahead.
No, absolutely, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna kind of repeat what you guys were saying. I'm like, I think that is such a like, because I was having a hard time. I'm like, why do I like this versus like, because again, I've kind of played a little bit of Elden Ring, a little bit of Bloodborne, and I'm just like, immediately knew those games were not for me, like for a lot of reasons. But again, I will watch a fucking 14-hour gameplay. It's one of my comfort watches. I will watch people play Elden Ring forever and Bloodborne, because it's just like, it's fun watching people be really good at this, and they'll beat the bosses in like under 2 minutes. That's super satisfying. Not my life at all. And I think I was having a hard time differentiating. I'm like, why is this one? Again, I was expecting to fucking hate this and like clock like, I like Crash Bandicoot. I thought I was going to clock like 30 minutes and be like, I'm so done with this. Stop assigning these games for our homework, but this one was really such a pleasant surprise, and I really think it's just that, like, yeah, I was definitely frustrated at points where I'm just like, I kept running into these walls where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I know the mistake I made. I know the mistake I made. Shit, I made that same mistake. Okay, I made a different variation of that same mistake. So like, it's frustrating, but yeah, I never felt super frustrated. I was like, no, I know what I did wrong. I just don't have the capacity right now to keep running my head into a wall at this moment. I'll come back to it later. And then yeah, definitely. I mean, I am way more of a cozy gamer of like unpacking is still my comfort game. So I'd much rather play something like that. But I was really impressed by this, and I think it's the accessibility that it didn't feel unfair at any point, and just the environment, the aesthetic of it that really puts this in a kind of different category for me. Well worth it. So I appreciate you assigning this, because this is not a game I would have touched for all of those reasons.
Yeah.
I'm glad I picked something on Wheelhouse. But kind of going back to one of your points that you just made, Brie, is like, again, like, these games aren't for everybody whatsoever. However, they do seem to carry a high amount of popularity. Like this and Hollow Knight, again, are considered indie classics. Like this is already this was a very hyped indie game,
yes,
to say the least. But like even the Souls games, like Bloodborne, all the Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Elden Ring, those highly critically acclaimed, huge in the streaming space, very popular games, but they're clearly not aiming for the broadest possible market that like your first person shooters, your open world survivors do, like games that try to be everything for everyone. Why is that? Because I don't play those games in general.
Yeah.
But they still seem to resonate.
I think in this specific instance is that this developer is offering something kind of unique. Like you look at a traditional Souls like your Elden Rings or your Dark Souls, and they all kind of start to blend, and they all kind of start to look the same and feel the same. This still feels like, I guess the best way I could say is like a true video game. This feels like something I would have gone and picked up at Blockbuster when I was a kid and been like, oh, that cover looks nice. I'll rent this tonight.
It's reminiscent of those old Disney CD-ROM games that kicked all of our ass.
Yeah.
But that I think that's kind of my answer, is that this is something in a world of Battlefield 6s and Fortnites and everything feeling the same and being the same. This stands out as something unique.
Brie, any thoughts?
No, I think that's a great answer. And also, I it's funny because like I feel like I keep specifically mentioning Elden Ring and Bloodborne because I think those are the two differentiators from like the Dark Souls games, because I'm like,
and I'm not familiar with them really, so
no, fair, but
I'm just speaking as somebody from the outside.
But yeah, Demon Souls and like the Dark Souls games, like I could not tell you the difference. I do not enjoy watching people play those games because those are so similar to me that I'm just like, I'm surprised that these are such an interest. Whereas like Elden Ring was such a different environment that I think that kind of kept it separate. And same thing with Bloodborne. They had totally different aesthetics from everything else, and I think that's what made them stand out a little bit more. And to your point, I think that's why this does, because this is like something completely different. This environment, like you would not mistake this with another game if you saw like the gameplay from this. Like this is distinctly this, and I mean, it's gorgeous. I just don't know how I don't know how people wouldn't enjoy that. So it's just stunning to look at.
Well, going back to the like Demon Souls, Dark Souls games, like those games introduced like the toxic gamer culture of like, the get good thing. It's just like, being good at those games gave bragging rights, and if you sucked at them, it's just like you're a shit gamer for not being good at these games. Bloodborne and Elden Ring kind of shifted that narrative a little bit, because while they still had those difficult elements, it's just like nobody shamed you for being bad at those games. Everybody looked at each other and be like, yo, this game's really hard. It's like, yeah, it is. And like, so like that bridge started kind of getting gapped there. And then again, this game, like literally this and Hollow Knight all kind of collectively have the like, I really love this game. I never finished it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But like that's basically what I hear from like everybody. It's just like, how can a game be so beloved yet like I maybe know like of 3 people in existence that actually beat Hollow Knight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a very kind of interesting kind of thing to go in. A couple of other notes I have down here. We already talked about art direction and everything else like that. This kind of piggies back over more of like a state of the video game industry in general. We talk about it a lot on the show but every time we have a video game assignment, I like kind of talking about where we're at with it. This game came out at a very interesting time in the gaming industry. Game Pass,
to say the least.
Game Pass just raised their subscription costs by 50%. Now, like it's $30 a month for the highest tier, which is where basically the only stuff that's worth having for Game Pass is. We had handhelds are making more push with the, again, Xbox Ally X has now entered the fray, which it's way too expensive to own, but it's going after that Steam Deck market. Private equity taking over EA in Saudi Arabia is just like, hey, you know how much you hate EA for like doing a bunch of stuff to make money? Well, they've gone private now, but now they're going to do shittier things to make money.
Yeah.
And, Silksong was kind of the bright spot, being it's just like, hey, here's an indie game for $20 that's beautiful and amazing, and you'll spend a lot of hours playing with it if you really enjoy it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's $20, and it is one of the most polished games that I have played in forever. It like I was kind of sitting there, and that was one of the things I was thinking about was like, this is $20. I paid $70 earlier this year to pre-order Silent Hill F, and it's fine. I personally love the game, but it's not as polished as this is. And like, is it worth 4 Silksongs to be able to get a AAA developed game? I don't think so.
And Silksong 1 took a long time to develop. Team Cherry is like super small. It's like 6 people.
Oh
who work
wow!
on the
Wow.
game.
That's impressive.
It's a very small team, and like they even says like, we didn't even give you guys any updates because it's just like we took our goddamn time on this thing. They were rolling in Hollow Knight money, but regardless, like very small team.
And didn't they kickstart this as well? Or am I thinking about Hollow Knight?
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't follow Kickstarter stuff really that closely anymore, at least not since like maybe 2014. But it could have. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think I think they might have had Hollow Knight be Kickstarter, but I think this one they were basically just rolling off of Hollow Knight money.
Okay.
But yeah, so like it took their time. It's a smaller team, so they don't need to break billions of dollars, and like and kind of going back to like Xbox Game Pass, they took what was the best value in gaming, and now it's just like, dude, just wait for the Steam sales to hit. You can spend literally $100 and you'll have more games in your backlog that you're never going to play anyways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like now, like I would recommend people just wait for Steam sales now.
100%. I mean, I'm always going to sing that song. Honestly, I feel like there's just so much in the indie space that is so unique with these smaller teams that have like such new and interesting ideas. So just like, why would you own a console, and why would you like, because I feel like kind of what you said earlier, I'm just like, these games have such a die-hard fan base. Like I vaguely knew of it, and I feel like anytime Nintendo made an announcement, they're like, well, they're going to talk about Silksong, right? They're going to talk about Silksong. I'm like, I don't even know what this is talking about, but I know people keep asking for this game. What is this game? And it seems to be living up to the hype. But just like I am interested to see how this changes the landscape, because like honestly, Silent Hill F is like honestly the biggest game that I've seen like YouTubers and things like that talk about. Like it seems very interesting, but like outside of that, I feel like I don't hear about people talking about larger games like that anymore. It's just like I kind of hope it does shift, because these games are just so much better, and they continue to be better.
Yeah. The only other game that I've heard this much about with Silent Hill F and Silksong is Battlefield 6.
Yeah,
And that's purely for multiplayer. It's just people being excited and it like there just isn't that level of excitement around like third party or not third party AAA games.
Mm-hmm.
And, with Xbox, Game Pass was the best portion of it, but it was also killing their business because a lot of stores have recently announced that they're going to start limiting how much shelf space Xbox gets because they're not selling games and they're not even really selling consoles at this point. Yeah. And I've only seen a couple of videos about it, but I was in a Walmart yesterday and I was like, you know what? I'm going to check this out. PlayStation and Nintendo have half an aisle dedicated to them. Xbox, it's one locked like cabinet and it's full of consoles and then 6 games. That was
it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I was like, and I was
I've said for a while that Xbox kind of isn't playing like the hardware and like physical media game anymore since they moved to Game Pass, but like now it's more or less just like but like how do you justify it? How do you get people to play the games if you don't have the hardware? Like PC exists, but like you're competing with Steam, and again it's just like $30 a month for Game Pass versus just going ham at a Steam sale. Gotta take the Steam sale. Like my Steam library is large enough now with enough of a backlog where it's just like any game that I wanted to play, and if there's a AAA game I want to play enough, I'll pay the $60 when it comes out. But other than that, like I paid $5 for Doom Eternal because like I didn't play it at launch.
Yeah,
I was never gonna have time to.
Exactly, and that's the other thing is that like who really has time to play games unless you really love the franchise, unless you really are about it? Who has the time to play a game at launch? I made a TikTok about this recently with movies where it was like, oh, there's this movie I want to see. Oh, it's $20 on Amazon. Well, I'll just wait 2 more months. It's not that big a deal. You don't have to be right on top of it anymore. And it's the exact same with games. And with Game Pass, one of their big selling points was being able to get like Xbox exclusives day of release. And Xbox has completely done away with exclusives at this point. That Indiana Jones game that they were pushing so hard last year is now on PlayStation and PC. You can just buy it. And like, if you're, I love Indiana Jones. I could gladly wait for that thing to be $5 on Steam because, I only have so much time in the day.
And so much money. So
same in this economy.
Good God.
And the PC space is not as strong as it was like I want to even say like pre-pandemic because again like inflation has killed everything and all hardware manufacturing goes to AI now. But
I was just about to say, we had that big push during 2020 where people were kind of building PCs and then AI just bought up all the chips and now they're outrageously expensive.
But that again goes back to the strength of indie titles because like you don't need to build a high-end PC to play most indie games for the most part. You only need to do high-end if you're doing AAAs, which again I don't really play that many. And even the ones that I do, they're from like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and also another thing that kind of we're really ragging on Xbox here.
They deservedly.
But they also didn't help their console sales by rolling out that initiative 6-7 months ago where they were like, oh, everything can be an Xbox now. You can play Xbox games on your phone. You can play them on handhelds. Anything you want can be an Xbox now. Just download our software, please.
Yeah, I mean, they've been moving to that model for a long time, but, like, they should have at least still pushed, like, again, turning Xbox from necessarily being a hardware, but to, like, a certification. Like, hey, this will run Xbox games. Like, this will run all games that are on Game Pass, no problem. Instead, being like, play on your phone, it's just like, yeah, you could play Xbox games on your phone, but it's going to be a degraded experience because you're probably paying via cloud, so you're going to have ping and latency issues, and it's not going to be at full render quality or anything else like that. So, I mean, that's why they came out with the Ally X, but again, like, that thing is priced so far out that, like, the Steam Deck is still going to eat that thing's lunch because
Absolutely.
Steam doesn't have to charge full pop for that hardware, because it's just like, dude, we're already collecting 30% of every game that's sold on Steam. We could subsidize the hardware sales on it.
Yeah.
Wild.
I still really want a Steam Deck. I can't justify buying one. Really
That's where
want
I'm
one.
at. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
can't. It's too much money.
I was in a Best Buy a little while ago, and I was looking at their Steam Decks and their like Steam Deck competitors, and I was like, these are still just too expensive. Yeah, it would be nice because I love the idea of a handheld. I love the idea of being able to play these games.
I would love to get you one because
go.
I want to be able to recommend more Steam games for for the show.
Homework.
The fact that you're still a filthy console gamer makes it really fun.
For now.
And
Disgusting.
not only that, you're a PlayStation, so I don't even have that to like work off of.
Yeah, the only PlayStation handheld plays over the cloud, and you deal with all the issues that you just mentioned.
God, that was such a stupid idea. Who pays for that?
I know.
Like, I get the VR headset, like the PSVR. I understood. Like,
oh, are we gonna start talking about VR now? And what, like,
they're gonna get so mad at us.
Hey, that's some of the best views we get is when we piss off the Cybertruck and the VR people.
True. Yeah, it's okay. So PSVR,
certified VR and Cybertruck haters.
Yes.
And
I was a big proponent for VR back in like 2013.
Okay, dude, when the Oculus was announced, you were all for it. As soon as Facebook bought it, you were basically just like, and it's dead.
No, I held on hope for a minute because at the time they hadn't ruined Instagram yet, and I was like,
yeah, but
right, maybe they'll just let it be.
I could see the light behind your eyes fading though. When you
were
just
really
like, maybe this. Hey, like they're gonna have Facebook money behind it, and I'm just like,
different era.
What really? Yeah, what really did it was that I almost bought a developer kit for the Oculus because you didn't have to be a developer to buy it before they were purchased by Facebook, and it was like $200 could run just on like a regular MacBook Pro. And then they go to market with it. And the original iteration, for people who don't remember, of Oculus was like $650, and you needed a top of the line PC to run it. And I was like, fuck this. Fuck all of this.
Yeah.
No. And that's the other thing with PSVR is like, okay, especially the PlayStation 4 version of it, because when the PlayStation 4 version of it came out, it's like, I can get a PS4 for $300. Why am I going to then pay $500 for the VR headset? That just doesn't make sense. And it's like, to play VR games on the PS5, it's $500 for the baseline PS5. And I think it's actually $550 now.
Yeah,
because they raised prices. And the headset's an additional $500. Why do I got to spend $1,000 to play games that will probably make me motion sick after 20 minutes?
That's an excellent point. Who has that kind of money? Like, I know I keep like in this economy, but like genuinely in this economy, who can fucking afford these things? Who's using them?
Well, it's
I guess no one.
Well, like, it's also so much of like, again, like, and you know, not to bash number go up capitalism for the millionth time on the show, but like, it is just so insane. Like, everyone forgot about the fact if you want this to have mass appeal, you have to make it accessible to the masses. People actually have to be able to afford this shit. Mm-hmm. When you keep pricing people out of the market, you can't be surprised when it doesn't sell well and doesn't like. VR just has way too much friction to it. That's why it never caught on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When the whole idea of cryptocurrency is just like, well, when you're charging $100,000 for one piece of cryptocurrency, it's just like, yeah, that's an investment. That's not actual currency.
No, you're just scamming the next person.
Yeah, like everything is just more or less kind of like a bubble, and it's just like, yeah, like companies need to understand it's just like accessibility is more than just like how easy it is for people. It's also the people's just ability to afford it. Silksong is an easy game to recommend because it's like it's $20 fucking.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like skip 2 like coffee house trips a week and you can afford that game.
Yeah. No, and my analogy of like this is a game that I would have seen the cover of at Blockbuster and been like, oh, okay, I'll try this. That I lost my point while I was talking. I'll get it. Hold on. I will get it.
I'm
It's
manifesting.
$20. Yeah, thank you. It's for $20. That's not that bad to just be like, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll like it. Maybe I'll invest hours into it. Or maybe, you know, and we've talked before about like value versus price. And I don't mind paying $60 for a game if I feel I get $60 back out of that in enjoyment. I played like a handful of hours of this. I definitely got my $20 worth.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't regret this purchase at all.
Yeah.
And I can't say that for every game that I've bought over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah. No, and that's fair. And there's been a lot of discussion about other games that have come out, and some of them that are AAA, like high tier titles. Like again, Baldur's Gate 3 is just like, yeah, it was a full pop, like $60, but I also have 400 hours logged on that game. So
Yes.
and they released patch content, not DLC content. They never charged a cent for DLC for that game. Offered full-on mob support, so now basically the community is supporting any new kind of content for that goddamn thing, and it's just a game that keeps giving. Like I could still do a million different kinds of playthroughs for it and like never run out of content to do with that game, and I only paid $60. Totally fine.
Yeah.
But like now we're in the era where like Ubisoft thinks it's okay to charge $120 for a game that's completely broken.
That's so. Well, and Baldur's Gate is such a good. Oh God, yeah. Don't get me started on that. But Baldur's Gate is such a good example of that because, like, yeah, I mean that's you got your worth out of that and then some, and you can truly play that game for fucking ever. So just like going back to like the accessibility of Steam, I'm just like, I honestly for our podcast especially, I'm just like I don't mind. Like this is probably the most we would ever pay for a game on Steam for the most part. Like $20, that's fucking nothing, and I definitely got that out of it. So just like I don't see how anybody else can compete with that. It's just like I really hope we are seeing more of this because just buying a fucking headset for what $1,200 out the gate for like that's something that none of my friends have, nobody I know has, so I'm just playing it by myself. Like for fucking what? Like it's got to catch up at some point. Like that bubble's got to burst. Like, there's just not in this in this economy, it's not happening. So
and that's the frustrating thing. It's just like it's it's so obvious how to fix it, and yet the companies continue not to do it because they're just like, we can, number go up, shareholder value, whatever is here. It's just like, dude, just sell the games cheaper. Stop putting in crappy microtransactions. Like, subsidize your hardware, make it where people can actually play these things, and you'll rake in the money because you'll actually have the sales to justify it, and it will be stable. Like, you might not be min-maxing your profits, but like you'll at least have a stable market.
Well, and also you have developers like Rocksteady, who I read a thing earlier this week. I watched a TikTok. I can't read. That was like, we don't feel like it would be beneficial to us to charge over $100 for GTA 6. And I agree with that.
And that's the people who are like, the industry's like praying that they charge like $120
because that will legitimize the price point.
It sets the bar that everybody now has to reach, and so now there's that new like threshold for it.
Yeah, and you have Nintendo already trying to sneak into that space with the newest Pokemon game, where it's $70 for the game, and then a $30 DLC that unlocks some of the Mega Evolutions for the Pokemon that they're advertising as being part of the game. Yeah. And then you have to pay an additional $20 for the online content, because if you want to unlock everything and get all of the Mega Evolutions, you've got to play ranked. And so that's an over $100 purchase just in a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
That's such bullshit.
And Pokemon And Pokemon can barely justify being a $60 game, let alone a $120 game.
I was just gonna
Barely.
say that. I'm just like, I loved like the last iteration of Pokemon, but I'm like, I do think I spent too much money on that game because it looked like
Yes.
fucking ass.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo,
Yeah.
I really hope that we're getting to a point where people stop like dick riding corporations so hard. Nintendo doesn't give a fuck about you. And I love
No.
Pokemon. I will love Pokemon to the day I die, but I'm not gonna fucking buy the
Yeah.
new game because the last one was not fucking worth it. Like
Big and
so
asterisk.
cute.
But no, like yeah, but
Sorry,
like,
not to
especially
derail
that-
what you were saying.
yeah,
Fine.
but at least again, apples to oranges with Steam, because Steam's just a marketplace. They're not like the people developing the games, at least
Sure.
not anymore.
Hey,
Like
we
again,
got Half-Life Alex, what, 6 years ago?
again going back to the VR problem. Anyways,
Yeah.
but like again, like wait for a Steam sale. You'll be able to get a shit ton of games for super, super cheap. Nintendo never discounts anything. You will
No.
be you will have to
Ever.
pay you will have to pay full pop for Breath of the Wild for the rest of your life, and it probably won't even be supported on the Switch 3 or whatever comes out. You'll have to wait for them to remaster it in 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
mhm.
Which
Well, and I think I've said this on the show before. When I bought my Switch like 3 years into the Switch's lifespan,
Yeah.
with the intent of like, oh, good, I'll be able to experience all of these Nintendo franchises and they'll be cheaper than when I bought them at launch. Clearly, because that's how the gaming industry works. And then I walked into Target and was like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit, no. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to be experiencing Nintendo's franchises.
Yep. Not worth it.
And they're also the most litigious when it comes to ROMs and their copyright and everything else. It's just like, dude, come
Yeah.
on, just like put it on sale for like $30. Come on.
hmm
Like if
Yeah.
they didn't buy it at full pop, like it's already made its sales record numbers, it's run its awards, all that kind of stuff. Like you'll bring in more revenue if you just make it cheaper. Come on.
There's no reason why a re-release of the Mario Galaxy games from the Wii era should still be priced at $60-$70 in the modern age. You know,
Absolutely.
put that out
Ridiculous.
with the player's choice bandage on it and charge $20.
Yeah, like I realized that you know somebody had to code that to work on modern controls and consoles and everything else. Don't get me wrong, I understand there's an expense to it, but like it's not like you completely released a game from scratch.
Yeah.
hmm
And especially when, you know, even when you buy the cart, which they're still using carts, you buy the cart and sometimes it's just a key that allows you
Yeah.
to download
Oh,
the game.
God.
You're getting 100% of that purchase.
Yep.
Like, fuck
Yeah,
off, Nintendo.
they are doing some of the shittiest things possible in terms of like practices, and again making sure that again you don't, even if you buy a cart, you don't own it because it's basically just a key.
Yeah.
Or online, just like that's insane. That is,
Oh, and if
we
you
need
do
to let that
something we
go.
don't like, yeah, and if you do something we don't like with your Switch 2, we're gonna permanently block you from being able to access any online content at all.
and people wonder why piracy's back.
Yep.
It's like-
Yep.
It was dead for a reason. You guys could have let it stay dead.
Yeah, but you got greedy. You got
Mhm.
fucking greedy. And now there's 16 different streaming services that I have to bounce
Yeah.
between so I can watch Silent Hill, a bad horror movie. I actually really like Silent Hill. I think it's a really good video game adaptation, but that's a topic for another episode.
I was about to say, it's not your homework assignment next. It's Bree's. Bree, what's our next homework assignment?
So I'll be so real with you that like I'm just like, oh fuck, I have no idea. And I will say I still kind of have no idea. But I did have like 3 potential options. I will say they're kind of bigger shows, but
I have no idea. Here's 3 different options I thought of.
I wrote them down as we were kind of riffing at the beginning. So I genuinely until like
Okay.
right now.
So what did we
not
riff
have an
about?
option.
We were just like, Bree hates
Calling it
thumbs,
audible.
gonna be horny. So I'm trying to figure out where her headspace is.
We're going to
at.
watch the Scooby-Doo porn parody. We mentioned it last episode.
Seth, what did I say about it's Bree's homework assignment, not yours?
So I want you all to go on DeviantArt for an hour. Let me know what you find.
That's actually
It's
not
just
the
all
worst
Yuri.
idea. That is not the worst idea. That's a show.
It would be
Our last show, our final show.
Yeah.
So, okay. I have 3 potential options, and they're like kind of wildly different and just kind of depends on our headspace. And these are all bigger shows. I've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I feel like
okay.
I wouldn't mind just like I know it's a bigger show, so we'd have to kind of tick away at it and see what we can get. BoJack Horseman, I have also never seen, but I also know that's rough. So I just want to make sure we're in the okay headspace for that. And along those
mental
lines,
health check-in, everybody. How we feeling today?
on suicide to okay, where are we at? So,
Seth, when was the last time you had pills?
I had pills?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe not.
I did take my Tylenol
There
this
you go.
week. If that counts.
Gotta keep the autism going.
Yeah.
The last option was Steven Universe because very similar. I have not seen any of that.
Okay.
If you have any, I can go any way on this. So,
So
It's-
I've seen Avatar: Last Airbender, and I've seen pieces of Steven Universe. I've also seen pieces of BoJack, so I'm familiar with all 3 franchises. I think for one that we're all going to enjoy the most, and this is just me shot in the dark, I would say Avatar.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Avatar or Steven Universe. BoJack Horseman definitely gets really heavy.
yes. Mm-hmm.
And
So-
it's the end of the year. I don't know if I need a mental health crisis right now.
Correct. I'm just like, I think it is something I want to discuss at some point, but yeah, maybe not now. Totally cool. Then Avatar, we're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with Avatar.
And just as much as we can get done, because I know it's like,
Again,
long.
I've seen the whole thing, but so everything will just be.
And that's the Blue Cat movie, right? That's
See, what you should have done is not made that joke and then come in 2 weeks from now.
and then come in and pretend like I watched that instead. Oh, that would have been such a better bit. Damn it.
That
Fuck.
would have been so
This is why we work things in the pre-show and the after show.
amazing.
Anyways, so that's our show. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Internet Friends. I am TCK Media Productions on most platforms. You have that stuff 23 you can find on the Tiki of Takis, hyped up on Tylenol, and you have the Raccoon Loon herself, who you can check out Gamebirds if you love indie titles. I'm waiting for the Silksong episodes. I think you and Els will have a great time talking about it.
She's got to get back from Japan, so we're waiting.
God damn it, Japan!
That's awesome.
Yes, I love that.
Tokyo?
For her. She's staying in Shibuya, and I think she's going to a couple other places. So yeah, Osaka.
Nice.
So
Oh, nice. Anyways, that's our show, and we'll see you guys next time.